The title of my exhibition is Vital Structures. We're all connected, and nature is all connected, and it's vital to our survival. So, in other words, without trees, we wouldn't survive. Mountains end up showing us strength and resilience. And of course, we all need water. So, these are all vital structures that we need as human beings to survive. The exhibition was in Easton, Maryland, on the Eastern Shore at the Zebra Gallery, which was a great place to show my work. Of course, nature inspired my exhibit. I always tend to work from my imagination, but nature shows up. In other words, trees always end up showing up in my work, even when I don't expect them to. And on occasion, I have some work that is non-objective. So that means work that doesn't have any kind of real appearance. People can see what they like to see in it, but there is no real tree or no real mountain, and those are also very much inspired by nature. The thing that really surprised me is for about a year, maybe even 2 years, I was making peace with, of all things, the color pink. Every time I painted and I put pink in my paintings, I would paint over it. And I decided that I needed to do a little exploration about that and figure out why. So I started forcing myself to use pink. And when I did that, I ended up discovering a whole different palette, and that was really exciting and fun. I had about 12 to 13 pieces, and the largest piece is, 48 by 36, and then it goes down to the smallest piece, which was like 12 by 12. Vital Structures is a collection of paintings. They're all related to one another. And although the gallery took 12 to 13 paintings, I have 22 paintings, which are all part of that collection. I'm really happy to have that under my belt. I began making this collection about a year ago, maybe a little bit longer. Just shored myself up for the whole idea that I was going to have this solo exhibition, and I needed to have a body of work that would all fit together cohesively. So I ended up starting to work, and I'm always fascinated by trees, and so I wanted to have trees that were abstracted but still ended up absolutely looking like trees. I also wanted to use colors that are not necessarily found in nature. And of course, I introduced the color pink in more of my paintings. As far as logistically and getting the work done, I have a wonderful studio outside my home, and I was able to do all of the artwork there logistically in my studio. But I also wanted to make sure that I could transport the art in my vehicle because it had to go to the gallery. The turning point in my process was actually something that came prior to making this collection. I ended up really wanting to show visual texture in my artwork, so I've been working on that for several years. And as a result of working more in acrylic, which was a medium that I had not worked in until 2021, I was able to find ways to show the visual texture that I wanted to impart in my work and interest the viewers, hopefully, in that visual texture. So in order to get that texture, I very often work on wooden panels, and I use things like an orbital sander. You can learn my techniques by going on my website and looking at my work, and also signing up for my emails so that you find out when I'm teaching. The opening reception was great. It was on a Friday evening, and about 50 to 60 people showed up, and This reception was in Easton, Maryland, which is about an hour and 45 minutes to 2 hours away from where I live, so I didn't expect to see a lot of people that I knew. And fortunately, some of my friends showed up. That was wonderful. There was, as I said, a great crowd and a great playlist that was very upbeat, and it was just a wonderful experience across the board. The response to my work was universally wonderful. I was thrilled. Most people commented that they loved my color use and that my artwork made them happy. On this channel, I will be discussing how art can do just that. Whether I'm talking about color, whether I'm talking about how to make art, or just showing experiences that have influenced me and inspired me. One of the visitors actually ended up saying that she could see I was indicating that everything is connected. And that really surprised me because I have felt that everything was connected for decades. And I do try to show that in my work, but I'm always surprised when someone gets it, and she got it. There were a lot of paintings that I really loved in this collection, but there are three that stand out to me. One is Incandescently Aware, another is Spool of One's Thoughts, and a third is Universal Joy. One of the reasons that I love Incandescently Aware is honestly because it was inspired by an amazing experience that I had in 2023 when I visited South Korea and went to Jeju Island. I went to a garden, and I have been really fortunate to go to beautiful gardens in my life, but this garden was so special to me. I went in and I had no idea what I was going to see, and what I ended up seeing was a garden filled with trees, and they were all bonsai trees. And this was the passion of one man. He ended up buying 10 acres of land on Jeju Island in 1968, and he built this extraordinary garden. And as I was walking through the garden, all I could think about was how I wanted to come home and make a painting to honor this place. And when I made the painting, what I wanted to do was I wanted to impart in that painting the joy that I felt while I was walking around this magical garden. It was just an amazing place. And in the painting, I used collage material, and there are all kinds of things to reward the curious if they come up closer to the painting, and they'll see layers and layers of paint, but also handwriting and other kinds of interesting objects or visual objects from my life. And I just love this painting for that reason. The other painting that I love is Universal Joy. And Universal Joy is exactly what the title describes. First of all, it's my lovely and amazing trees that I could not love more. And I also decided that I wanted to include birds in this painting, and you see birds flying. Now, birds have been a comfort to me for as long as I can remember. I've never used them in my artwork, but I started using them in this series of paintings. And this painting has small birds flying in it. There's a group of trees. And what I love about this painting is it really truly illustrates how we're all connected, because although the trees are individual, you can see that at the top of the painting and at the bottom of the painting, they are connected. The other piece is entitled Spool of One's Thoughts. And this honestly is one of my favorites because I had such an enjoyable time making this painting. It is non-objective completely. It is 4 individual small panels that will end up working beautifully together, either horizontally or vertically. There are collage elements within the painting, and it's just so free, and it evokes to me how our thought processes work. I see this collection as part of my larger body of work because, of course, it's still rooted in nature in terms of my inspiration. Also, what ends up happening is I tend to use the same subjects over and over and over again. Even if something is somewhat non-objective, it could often look like mountains. Trees almost always show up in my work, and I have been exploring visual texture with the techniques that I use for several years now. So all of that work fits together as a whole. There were so many things that this exhibition taught me as an artist. One of the things was that I realized now that I can put together a large body of work. I had never made 22 pieces of artwork before that fit together as a whole. And that was a little bit daunting, quite honestly, but I'm really proud of myself that I did it. And also, the other thing that I learned, I recognized that when I started using pink, my entire palette started to change. And that was a surprise, even though intellectually I knew that that was going to happen. It was still a surprise, and it was actually a really fun thing to do. I truly do believe that everything is connected, and this comes from a deep spiritual place in me. This is something that I have believed for decades. I've watched it in action, and I certainly see it in nature. Without trees, we would not be alive. They make the oxygen that we breathe, for goodness sakes. It's so important that we protect these things, and this is something that I like to show in my work. And I was honored to share this idea in my series, Vital Structures. The work that I've done here in Vital Structures is something that my students can learn from, and one of the things that they can learn is not to take themselves so seriously and not try to make perfection. One of the things that I find that my students do, and this has been the case for decades, is they want to make the perfect painting or the perfect piece of art. And we all know intellectually that there is nothing perfect. So if you look at my artwork and you look at the completed work, you will see, if you look up close, it's not perfect. It's wild and it's free. And it honestly represents my working outside of my comfort zone. And I would like for my students to take that from the work that I do, that they might benefit also from trying not to make perfection and make something that is out of their comfort zone, and then find that, wow, that was fun. My YouTube channel is about making art, whether that's tips and techniques or great books for you to read, or just what it's like to live as an artist. And if that topic interests you, I hope that you'll stick around and follow.